Hi guys, so as I mentioned in the introductory video, we are going to break up these videos according to the area of the body. This video is focused on lower body. We are going to be doing squats, lunges, balance work, and hip bridges, and we're going to go from very basic all the way up to advanced modifications of these exercises. So I hope that this is helpful, and again, feel free to ping me with any questions that you may have. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to have you start with an exercise mat and a chair. The chair is really the most important thing that you need for the squats. The beginner squat is going to be toes forward, underneath of the hips or slightly wide from the hips. And you want to go ahead and step about one small step in front of your chair. Okay, so if you bring your heels to the bottom legs of the chair, okay, go ahead and take sort of a little half step forward from that, and you're in a great place to begin. You're going to squat all the way down, literally just sitting back into your chair and then standing up, squeezing your glutes or your rear end muscles, okay? So all the way down and then back up. And this is really, this is basic, but hello, how much of the time are we having to move in and out of seats and chairs and sometimes really deep, comfortable recliners and things like that. So this is an excellent way to make sure that you are really properly engaging the muscles in your rear end that help to support you through sitting and standing and supporting your lower back. Really important that these glutes, the largest muscle in our body, stay nice and strong. As you're squatting up and down, I want you to make sure that your knees are really stable. So, in other words, if you're squatting down and you feel that the knees are drifting in, I want you to actively engage the muscles in your thighs so that the knees stay nice and direct over the ankles, okay? So that's the first modification. If that feels comfortable for you, you can come behind your chair, okay? And from here, almost feels a little bit like in bar classes or ballet with a bar in front of you. You're simply going to place your hands on the back of your chair, same alignment, but this time you're going to squat down and up. This is actually a really nice thing for people who have a hard time keeping an upright posture in squats, because here, obviously I can't go too far or I'm going to hit my head into the chair. So it's a nice thing to be able to look straight towards the wall in front of you or an object in front of you in order to keep that posture in the nice upright alignment that we want while the hips are still moving back with the knees behind the toes. Okay, so that's modification 2. We're going to step it up a bit from there. We're going to take the chair out of the equation for a moment. Okay, you can just be on your mat or on the floor. This is a regular squat without any assistance. We need to engage our core a little bit more here. That's one of the reasons why this is actually a really excellent basic exercise move, because it really does involve some gentle core activation through these muscles that are engaged all the time throughout our daily activities. So think about drawing in your abdomen with your breathing, and we're going to go ahead, same alignment, feet underneath of the hips or slightly wider, and we're going to squat down and then up. We want to control for that drifting of the knees that tends to happen with a lot of people by actively engaging. You can even think about pushing your knees out a little bit as you do this, as you come down, in order to protect the medial aspect of your knees, okay? Hips are going back nice and far, okay, for the squat. You want to try to keep the knee behind the toe to protect the front of the knee joint. And again, we're really striving for some nice upright posture here. Sometimes to help with that upright posture when we don't have the reinforcement of the chair, it can be helpful just to drift the arms up and down as we go through this. That can be a really helpful thing for people. Okay? So that's the next modification. All right? After that, regular squats. We can just get a little fancy and start challenging our balance. That would be the next step up I suggest for you all. So squatting down, but now we add a little toe lift. Whoa, and see, talking through it, I lost my balance right there. So there you go. It can be tricky. Squatting down, now engage through the core to help you keep your balance. Lift the heels up and down and right back into the squat, gently and softly, up and down. This is really tricky. So if you want to have something in front of you like a chair the back of the chair to hold on to and to reach out to for that little heel lift, feel free to, okay? You can do this, by the way, with or without shoes on. I just happen to have mine off since I'm on my yoga mat, but feel free to put on some nice supportive shoes if that's more comfortable for your ankles and feet. The next one, the next modification, if you want to make this more of a cardio workout with your squats, is to squat down and simply begin to step side to side. So right now, we might not have all of our favorite aerobics classes to go to, but lateral movement is a great way for us to keep our nerves sharp and responsive, because lateral movement is really challenging and it's not something that we tend to do a ton of. So many exercises are in what we call the sagittal plane, meaning they're forward and back. Like, we don't get the lateral movement on a bike, we don't get it on a treadmill, we don't get it on an elliptical. So aerobics classes, and even just a little shuffle like this, side to side in a squat, or if that's too hard for you, simply like this, is a really great way to get a nice movement in from the safety of our homes. Next, we have one more that I'd like to show you before we move on to lunges. So the last modification for squats that I'd like to share with you is a squat plie with a knee lift, okay? So it's a plie squat alternating with a knee lift. Now, if you don't have incredible balance, then please don't do this. This is not going to be the best one for you at the moment. Or you could do it, but do it with, again, the back of the chair, okay? So it's a nice big squat down with the toes out, knees pushing wide to engage through your adductors or your inner thigh muscles, and then a nice knee lift up, okay? So that's the last modification for a squat that's more challenging for sure. It gets the obliques engaged and it engages the thighs. So next, we're going to bring that chair back and we're going to talk about lunges. That completes our squats on the lunges. Here we go. So we've got this chair back in front of us. Let me think about how I should do this for you all at the show. Here. I'm going to put the chair behind me so that it's easier for you to see me. And my hand will be on it for support right here. So one leg is going to be forward, one leg is going to be back. You can start just by taking a nice natural step back, a little bit long, but a natural step for you, okay? If you're having to walk your leg all the way back here, your lunge is going to be too long. It's going to be too large of a gait for you. So one nice big step back here. Hold on with the arm that is on the same side as the forward leg, and then gently drop the back knee down to 90 degrees and come back up. I'm holding on to this chair the entire time, okay? Dropping straight down and back up. Keep that core engaged, just like we talked about in the beginning. This is really great isometric work for your transverse abdominis that hugs everything in and keeps you nice and stable, okay? You can hold on to this chair for dear life if you'd like, or you can just put a couple fingers on, just your fingertips, just for a little safety and reassurance that you're not going to fall. So that's the first modification. You would ideally do this on both sides for good balance throughout your body, okay? But for demonstration's sake, I'm going to cut it at that. But that's how you would do the lunges with the support of the chair. Now, putting that out of view again, the next step up from that is to do a static lunge. This is the same nice big step back, but we're going to come down low and then rise. We're not moving our feet stay planted the whole time, okay? But we're just going down and up, okay? Again, we do repetitions on both sides. We can talk about sets and reps and stuff like that later. Right now, we're just focusing on the different modification options, okay? So down and up. Same thing. We're not moving the feet. This is not alternating legs yet. This is static, just moving our knees for a little better balance. Now, the next modification, of course, would be a non-static lunge. So it would be a moving lunge, not necessarily a traveling one where we cross the whole gym floor, because clearly we've got the confines of our home, but you know, if you wanted, you could travel and use this alternating leg over leg, foot over foot, and do like a lap around your home. So whatever you'd like, but for the purposes of this video, we'll just keep it on the mat. One leg goes forward, alternating like such, okay? You can do this one of two ways for alternating lunges. You can do it forward, as I am. This is a little harder because your knees have to catch that momentum and force that's coming forward, okay? So if this doesn't feel great on the knees, then I suggest you start at the opposite end of the mat and step backwards, okay? So we're doing the exact same movement, it's just a little different. This is a little easier on the knees, but I tend to find that it's a little harder on balance. So pros and cons to each, either starting at the front or the back of the mat, stepping forward or backwards into an alternating moving lunge. The last one that we're going to do for lunges involves some balance, okay? So you're going to, let me think here. Here we go. We're going to start at the front of our mat, okay? A big step back into the lunge, and then we're going to bring it forward into a balance, a single leg balance. So it's lunging back, and then coming up, engaging through the core, balancing here for a moment before repeating. So we keep it on the same side for however many reps we're doing, okay? Maybe that's 2 or 3, and that's all, and it doesn't feel good after that. Maybe it's 12 to 15. This really depends on you and your fitness level, okay? But same thing on both sides. It's a backwards lunge, bringing it forward into a balance. And that moving leg is just kind of acting like a pendulum, going forward and back, okay? So those are 4 modifications for how to ramp up the intensity on your lunges. Next, let's talk about balance. So I'm going to grab that chair again. All right. So here's our chair again. And this time I'm just going to start with regular balance. So I'll put it to my side so that you can see. You can do this behind or you can do it to the side. Literally, we're just going to lift one leg up. The knee comes to about hip height, and we're going to try to stand tall here. When we start to slump and kind of let our hips relax, that means that the outside of our hips, our abductors, isn't really engaging. So try to even those hips back, bring them center underneath of your shoulders, and you're actually going to be very subtly engaging these muscles to a greater extent. So you can do this on both sides. Single leg balance, using a chair. Okay, simple as that. Next, with the chair, we're going to do a side leg lift. This also requires a good deal of core control, and this is more actively working those abductor muscles in the outside of the thighs, like I said. Okay, again, we can do this on both sides. And I should probably stop scooting the chair like that, making that loud noise, because I have two kids, one 4-year-old and one 1-year-old, who are currently napping, and I'm trying to squeeze this video in, so I will try to gingerly place my chair next time. Okay, so those are nice options with the chair for side leg lifts. Before going on to the next modification, those balancing exercises look the exact same without the chair for a harder level of modification, okay? Core is even more important here if we don't have the assistance of the chair. They look very simple when you're just watching them, but they're actually really challenging and take a lot of muscle coordination through the whole body to figure out how to do this, and a lot of work in the small muscles of the foot and the ankle and the lower leg. Okay, so that's what that looks like. The side leg lifts without knee support look like this. Again, that lateral movement, just like we talked about with the side shuffles, lateral movement can be really tricky because it's not something we do all that often, so it can be really hard. These can be really super effective and challenging. Okay, and same thing, looks similar on the other side. Okay, so those are the next step up for those 2 exercises without the chair. A forward reach, or sort of like almost like a single leg deadlift with a chair, will look like this. Bring your legs towards the chair and then take one step back to get set up, okay? Find that single leg balance on one leg and then let the leg swing behind you and reach down towards the chair and then come back up. Now, we want to make sure that the chair isn't really low, like we don't want to do a footstool or anything, because that will take us down really low and then we're going to stress our lower backs. So you can do this practicing on each side. One leg comes up and drifts down, squeeze through the core, and then come back up. Using the assistance of the chair to ensure that we're not going to fall and face plant, right? That would not be comfortable. If that feels okay for you, then we simply nix the chair, take it out of the equation, as we've done lots of times before, okay? And it's going to be the single leg balance, bringing it all the way back, keeping our hips level, coming down until we're about parallel with the ground, and then coming back up, bringing it into that full single leg balance, knee directly out from the hip, and extending again. This is a lot of work for the standing legs glute, and it can be really challenging, but this is a very hard but very excellent workout so long as you don't feel any discomfort in your lower back and as long as you have the balance to be able to do it safely, okay? So always keep in mind safety is our number one objective and then getting a good workout. So those are options that help with balance. What was the other one I wanted to do? Okay, the other one I want to do, sorry, looking off at my notes. The other one I want to talk about before we move on to the hip bridges is, I guess I've called this like a star, the star balance. I don't know exactly how I've referred to this with my clients, but I think I usually say star. But either way, when I'm coaching people in person, I just do it like this, okay? We're standing on one leg, we're reaching forward, tapping our toe lightly to the ground and bringing it back. Then we take it diagonal to the front and back, straight to the side and back into center, diagonal back, center, straight back, center. Again, like this. You can start with just simple toe taps, okay, to help help re-steady your body, okay? And then when you start to feel comfortable with this, you can try either with a chair in front of you holding onto the back of it, or without, you can try to make this a moving, free floating leg movement, okay? So I'm not putting if you can see my feet, hopefully, you're seeing that I'm not putting my foot down through this entire thing. And believe me when I say that already my lower leg is starting to burn a bit. So this really challenges those muscles in terms of stability and is a great way to make sure that you're involving your body in lots of different ranges of motion and planes of movement, I mean. So that's it for the squats, the lunges, and the balancing exercises. And we will conclude this lower body series with some hip bridges. So let's see. Okay, actually we need a pillow for this one, so grab a pillow, or if you have a medicine ball, if you happen to have a medicine ball at home, that's an excellent thing. But for those of us who don't have every single exercise prop at our home and at our disposal, a pillow is going to be a great thing that we can use. So we'll just set that to the side for now. I want you to really slowly ease down to your elbows and then all the way down with your head for a hip bridge. Feet are going to be flat on the ground, okay? Neck is relaxed. You're squeezing through your glutes to lift up into a hip bridge and then release them gently back down. So the first modification for hip bridge is simply up and down. I would really like to have your ankles right underneath of your knees as much as possible. And I want you to really make sure that you're feeling this in your glutes rather than your lower back, because the glutes are the largest muscle in your body, and we really want them to be the primary movers in this workout. So it's up and down. Okay, so that's modification number one. To make it a little harder, you just keep it a static hold. Now, a static hold is going to be with your hips all the way up. Down here is not fully engaging your hips, so try your best to lift as high as possible, okay? If your hip flexors feel really, really tight, you can either put a pillow or a yoga block underneath of you like this, and you can lift up from there and rest back down to help kind of bridge that gap and keep your glutes engaged, okay? So just a static hold is our next option. A step up from that in intensity is to lower down, take a pillow or your medicine ball, place it in between the thighs so that you can engage your adductors or those inner thigh muscles, and then lift up. And I think this one is probably one of my favorite exercises, period, because when we do this, it really helps to intensify the work in, hopefully that didn't mess up the video. My battery is running low here. But as I was saying, that really helps to intensify the work that's happening in the glutes while engaging through the midline of your body. This is excellent in how it transfers into being balanced and stable as you're moving about your day. So lower on down, take the pillow to the side, and then the last modification here is lifting all the way up, lifting one leg, and if you feel stable there, you can lower and squeeze to lift, doing one leg at a time, okay? And of course you can do this for a few reps or a full set on each side, but only if you feel comfortable and only if it's not going to hurt your lower back, okay? So I hope that all of those exercises are helpful. Again, we reviewed quite a lot for squats, lunges, balancing exercises, and hip bridges. I think I gave you probably over 15 different types of modifications, like 15 to 20 or more. So I know that it's a lot of information, but my hope is that this sort of plants the seed for you beginning to experiment with different types of options and things that are appropriate for you so that you can get a really great workout at home. Feel free to, flip back through this to each one of those 4 different types of movement and find which one resonated with you, and just kind of repeat those 20 seconds as many times as you need to get comfortable with the form and what you should be looking for. And again, I'm here to help. So I hope that's, I hope that's helpful. And next time you see my face, if you're still with us, we will focus on upper body movements, okay? Have a great day, guys. Bye.